Since the beginning of time, beings of higher intelligence known as the Overseers have been in control of the universe. They have been known throughout history by many names, such as aliens, extraterrestrials, angels, gods, and devils. Because of the Draconian Wars 24,000 years ago, the Overseers decided to establish a universal government known as the Intergalactic Confederation, whose sole mission is to maintain balance and order throughout the universe. The Star Seeds are a branch of this galactic government and focus primarily on recruiting human beings from planet Earth who possess special abilities that can be used to further the agenda of the Intergalactic Confederation. The individual known as Windstorm is one such person, and this is his story.
But there's still more work to be done with the subjects.
You're right. But unfortunately, you are no longer needed.
What the fuck?
That you were experiencing. But why would your future self travel back in time just to manipulate your past self?
Because he was being controlled.
Controlled by who?
The Draconians.
It was at this point that we had to know everything he knew about the Draconians.
So who are the Draconians to you?
The Draconians are a group of extremely violent extraterrestrial humanoids who came here to Earth 24,000 years ago from the solar system known as Alpha Draconis. And this solar system exists within the Draco star constellation, 270 light years from Earth. The Draconians seek intergalactic domination. They actively work towards colonizing different galaxies, while using humans and other subservient species for slave labor, as well as a food source. It is in their best interest to farm humans as cattle, just as humans farm animals. They have silently infiltrated religion, government, and entertainment for the purpose of leading humans into social chaos, which in turn makes planet Earth easier to control from behind the scenes.
He further explained how the Draconians were kidnapping humans for the purpose of genetic mixing, which would in turn create a race of human Draconian hybrids. These hybrids were used to carry out the Draconian agenda throughout planet Earth. Some of his facts were a little off, but for the most part, he was accurate.
So long story short, these were the ones that I was dealing with. The half-human, half-Draco hybrids.
So you were being watched by a group of half-human, half-Draconian hybrids,
Yes.
and these Draco-human hybrids captured your future self and used him to control
Yes.
you. So you've never seen an actual full-blooded Draconian?
No. I've never seen an actual Draconian. I've only dealt with their half-human, half-Draco hybrids. Listen, every time they meet in large groups, they wear a mask to hide their true identity. Only the elites among them really know who's who. They operate in the shadows as a Masonic order, the House of Draco.
So how exactly were the Draconians able to capture Windstorm from the future?
Well, to explain that, I first have to explain what was going on in the future that made the subject of time travel come up in the first place.
It was the year 2050, and the Draconians were on the verge of complete domination over the planet Earth. In this timeline, Windstorm had fully come into his meta-human power, and was working with a group of metahumans as vigilantes, fighting against the Draconian invasion. They were planet Earth's last hope for survival. The Draconians had released an airborne virus, turning 43% of planet Earth into vicious flesh-eating zombies. Originally, Windstorm teamed up with 20 metahumans, with hopes of saving humanity. But within time, he and one other metahuman vigilante were the only survivors. They were constantly being attacked, and it was only a matter of time before they too were captured by the Draconians. But Windstorm had an idea to use an untested time machine, with hopes of returning to the past and warning his team of metahumans about the Draconian invasion, so that they could prepare themselves accordingly. At first, she disagreed with the idea.
I can't send you back in time. We don't know where you'll end up.
Let's do it.
But eventually, she understood that it was the only way.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in the chamber, and then I'm gonna put in the access code. And when you come out, you should be in the same exact spot 10 years in the past. But remember, find yourself and warn the others.
But in the middle of traveling through the temporal zone, there was an issue. Apparently, the Draconians were able to hack into the frequency wave that was guiding the time machine and reroute its destination. Windstorm unknowingly ended up in the Draconian mothership. He didn't time travel at all. Instead, he was teleported behind enemy lines. Windstorm was captured by the Draconians and tortured by one of their hybrids. He was put under mind control by being forced to swallow a mind-altering serum. This is how they were able to control him.
Now, who are you? I am Windstorm.
And who do you serve?
I serve the Draconians.
The Draconians devised the perfect plan. Send Windstorm back into the past as he originally intended. But now that he was under the influence of mind control, he could be used by the Draconians to manipulate his past self. This was their elaborate scheme to gain control of a natural starseed and infiltrate the Interplanetary Confederation.
Row your boat gently down the stream. Everything on the planet ain't always what it seems. Who's really in control? Seems like nobody knows. There's a group behind the group and they sitting behind the door. Is it the black or is it the white? Never know peace, I'm running a fight. Protecting myself, I'm gaining my wealth and getting the weapons. No, I just might. Is it a ship or is it a plane? Using my brain or am I insane? Riding the lane, it's all a game. Not a shame, it's all the same. Politicians try to listen, it's suspicious, don't you get it? I'ma pitch it, try to hit it. This that knowledge, watch me spit it. Reptilian pack, Oval Office, where they at? Got the ship at the White House, they parked it in the back. Different aliens mixed up like a blender. Talking to the president and give him the agenda. Affect the people, they ain't equal, this a higher power. Taking over every hour, fake us out, they sweet and sour. Oh.
But now that he was under the influence of mind control, he could be used by the Draconians to manipulate his past self. This was their elaborate scheme to gain control of a natural starseed and infiltrate the Interplanetary Confederation.
Got a little special evil type of dynasty. Satellite technology is really how they finding me. But I put a jammer up, I'm disrupting they signal. And I'm real official, not a pistol, this a missile. Watch me get you, I'ma hit you, draw the battlefield with pencils. It's suspenseful, never little represented what I assemble. If you getting it, then it determines your level of overstanding. Paying attention to when the plane is supposed to be landing.
What the fuck?
After we had a clear understanding of how the Draconians were using Windstorm from the future to control Windstorm of the present, we then needed to know if the two ever made contact with each other within this present timeline. And it turns out, they did.
So when did Windstorm of the future first make contact with you?
So I gotta take it back to where I left off. I was at work and I got into a fight and I got knocked out. You know, I was out cold. But when I woke up, that's when I saw the note that was on my chest. And it said, "Learn to fight." At first I thought it was like a joke or something. I didn't really pay much attention, but I kept the note with me and I would just look at it from time to time.
So what does this have to do with Windstorm of the future?
Windstorm of the future was in complete control over all of these little events that I was going through. And as crazy as it sounds, he was able to use a particle beam within the Draco satellite to actually stall my engine. I couldn't start my car. And this set off a series of events. Because I couldn't start my car, I had to take the bus to work. And on my way to the bus stop, that's when I saw the sign. So as crazy as it sounds, the message on that flyer, "Learn to fight," was the same message from the note that was left for me after I got into that fight at work. And I couldn't help but to think it was some type of sign, you know, like a connection between those two things happening to me.
Well, Was there a connection?
So all of this was a very planned out, intricate plan to get me to call the number on the flyer.
So did you ever call the number?
Yes. And I actually spoke to somebody and they gave me a location. But when I pulled up to the address, it was a regular house. But I went in anyway. Hello?
Welcome. I've been expecting you.
It was at this moment that for the first time he came face to face with his future self. But because of the mask and the voice alteration, he didn't even realize it. Windstorm of the future was still under mind control by the Draconians. Their plan was intricate yet simple. Use Windstorm from the future to gain the trust and companionship of his past self, while slowly but surely convincing him to serve the Draconian agenda. The mind-controlling serum that was being used only had a temporary effect, and once it wore off, the Draconians planned on killing Windstorm of the future, hoping by that time, Windstorm of the present would be a willing, self-proclaimed, full-fledged servant of the Draconian agenda. The funny thing is, they really wanted him to learn to fight. They figured, if he was taught the Draco fighting style, it would further convince him to join. He was shown a book that explained everything he needed to know about the Draconian art of war. He was also told that he had full access to the basement downstairs for training, but upstairs was strictly forbidden. He was expected to use the spare key to come in at will and train himself.
So instead of having an actual trainer, you had to learn everything from a book?
Yes.
And you were allowed to come into the house to train, but you couldn't go upstairs?
Yes. Every door upstairs was locked. I couldn't get in. So I just followed the rules and just stuck with the basement. And, I went down there.
And what happened your first time down there?
You are about to embark upon a journey into the way of the Draco. But before you become a master, you must first learn the basics. It's time to train.